do you guys think So Far Gone is like actually impact where we are in music right now?
Yo, So Far Gone, it most definitely changed the landscape of how music is today, especially when it comes to mixtapes. Because after him, then J. Cole dropped a dope ass project. Kendrick dropped Section 80. So most definitely, that nigga, he changed the game. Because back in the day when it was like 50, when he was killing it, when DJ Clue, Jay, all them niggas, they was rapping on other niggas' beats. This nigga Drake, he had created his own beats and he switched his shit on other songs. So most definitely, he had a crazy. He might have the biggest impact in hip hop to me.
Yeah, and I mean, I think So Far Gone, not even just like the sound of music, but like how music is consumed today. I feel like this was the first mixtape that kind of bridged the gap. Like, you know how Soulja Boy was saying like he was the one that started the streaming era or whatever. Yeah, I feel like in all reality.
Wait, before you get to that, you gotta.
But no, I'm saying, so in all reality, the impact of how So Far Gone. The impact that So Far Gone had on music was bigger than just music. It was the streaming era in general. Without So Far Gone, there would be no Spotify. There would be Spotify, but I feel like So Far Gone gave those streaming companies the blueprint on how to successfully gauge digital streams. Cause like when that album dropped, you couldn't find them. You had to either go to Dat Piff, LimeWire, or Hot New Hip Hop, but you couldn't find it in like stores or anything. But it was setting the internet on fire. It was the first digital piece of music that actually like kind of broke the internet for the first time.
So Far Gone is the reason I found Dat Piff and shit. I'm gonna keep that shit a hunch.
I ain't gonna lie to you. So Far Gone, to me, it changed the way that I listen to music completely and shit. Like I went from listening to a whole bunch of hard ass like down south shit, and then I just started going into a whole different lane of like soulful shit.
Hold on, but how does that shit impact? Cause we can go into that, but like how does it impact today in music, and then we can go into how it impact.
Shit! For me personally, that's the first time I ever heard a mixtape sound like an album, and almost it. I can remember exactly where I was when I was listening to that fucking album, to that mixtape and shit.
I think everybody can.
And just the fact that this fucking mixtape was almost sounding like the fucking one of the, at the time it sounded like the coldest album in the universe to me and shit. Like I couldn't believe that this dude was just blending all this shit and just making like perfect music with like everything about that album was borderline perfect.
Yo, wait, Trey, what you was laughing about?
Because he ain't answered the phone. I say, yo, how did the album impact music? And then we're gonna talk about how it impact you. He was like, all right, guys, I hear what you're saying. He still telling me how it impact him and shit.
I didn't say it.
No, I was saying like music, like artists, like how is it impacting the overall landscape of music and shit? But from like,
I just said that was the first time a mixtape sounded like an album and shit.
You said to you though. You said you could remember exactly what you was at.
Yeah, but then I also said.
All right, so
go ahead, Dre.
For me, right, and y'all know I hated this topic from the get go and shit. Yeah. I understand the topic. I just thought this was a dumbass topic. But then this nigga Trey started playing them gems today before we started recording. So I forgot how much I love that shit. But like on a whole nother like outlook of it,
right?
What made So Far Gone so dope? Not even like on no music shit. Like ultimately bringing it back to the music. Drake made it okay to be light skinned, yo. like real nigga shit. Drake made it okay to be light skinned because at this time, like Rico, like no real shit. Like how Rico was talking and shit. Like niggas was on some hardcore shit. Drake came with some singing, I love you type shit, being like on some soft nigga shit. But I'm just saying like being in your feelings and shit. Yo, Drake made it okay for niggas to like rap about that again.
But wait, you had somebody that inspired him. That was Kanye. So Kanye was in that bag too.
Kanye definitely.
But I'm saying, Kanye was in that bag with 808s. I'm saying Drake just took it to a whole nother level.
He got a way.
So Far Gone was way before 808s. What you talking about?
And what Dre is saying.
No, it wasn't.
So 808s was before So Far?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, but what Dre is saying, because I agree with what Dre said. Drake made it more acceptable for you to be vulnerable and shit. Because like Kanye West wasn't like as vulnerable as he was on like I forgot to call. Like Kanye ain't had nothing where he was like crying about not calling you on your birthday.
No. What you mean is like Drake was actually like singing like he was an R&B artist and shit. So I'm saying for that song he's talking about and shit. So Kanye, he did the singing shit, but Drake took it to a whole nother level. Like he could have been either a rapper or R&B artist.
But the overarching point of kind of what Dre was saying is to be vulnerable to expose like he exposed how cause you know like back in that time either you was rapping conscious about like you know what's going on within society or you was rapping on some gangster shit, but no one was rapping like I fell in love with this girl, she broke my heart, now my heart is broken.
Oh
shit.
yeah.
Like Drake was the first artist that did that and made it sound cool as hell on the project and shit.
He made it okay to be a
Joe
young
Budden
nigga,
did it
so.
before him, but he wasn't on a high scale though. At that time.
Joe
Joe Budden most definitely did that.
No,
before.
Joe definitely did, but you
Yeah,
absolutely
Joe
right
been
with that.
emotional, but Joe it wasn't like on no light skin emotional.
Yeah.
He was on some depressed,
And then
Facts,
emotional
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah.
and then like I mean Drake was still vulnerable because he was crying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yo,
Yeah,
he made it okay to be a light skinned nigga in the rap industry and shit with that shit.
But just a hard one point Trey made about Drake, like pretty much inspiring with Spotify and all them streaming sites of today. I'd say he's completely wrong because niggas that streaming shit. Once the music industry was losing out on money because of bootlegging, and then you have all them sites that was like pretty much posting everybody album. Like Napster was one of the sites, sites and shit. So I think streaming since iTunes, remember that was like one of the dopest spots to buy listen to all the music and shit. Cause Apple they took that shit to a whole nother level. And then I don't know who came first, but Spotify took it to a
Another
level.
one too, Naj. Before you can even go any further, Trey. Another thing to piggyback off what you said, you know what we used to get a lot of leaks and shit. We don't have that hardly anymore and shit because of the streaming.
Unless the artists are doing it themselves.
Yeah.
It's because music is produced so fast now, so they put it out before you can get leaks. But go ahead.
Yeah,
Trey.
no, I'm about to say from what Najee said, like I'm not saying like because it's Napster and all that was out there, but I feel like the blueprint of how that Piff and like the mixtape sites were showing like you can house all this music, send a bunch of internet traffic to this one area and have everyone listen to one particular album. Because I remember that Piff was the only site that was showing you how many listens and like how many downloads.
They weren't on your site.
Well, but they was one of the major sites that was doing it.
Yeah.
So without that like blueprint of showing like like streams, we can focus on how many people are listening to this album. We can see how many people have downloaded this. So Far Gone was the first one that you still like. This can actually break an artist. This can actually take an artist from 0 to 1,000 like real fast.
Yeah.
So that was my arching point. It's like the Napster stuff that showed how to make the album digitally available online and leaks and all that. But to understand how can you get this album marketed digitally and have a overall internet traffic surrounded about one project.
Yeah.
And then know how to measure success. I feel like they took what So Far Gone and all these mixtapes were doing in that time and then they was able to build their blueprint from those.
So wait, technically that was free all the way around at first,
free,
right?
yeah.
And that's what streams like because you can go to Spotify, you can listen to it for free. Like because remember iTunes, that shit was you had to pay for it, so they was on engaging based on what you was buying.
Yeah.
But that Piff and Hot New Hip Hop, they was gauging based on what you was listening to.
So I get what you're saying now.
You got plays, you know what I mean?
So basically what you were saying is with that Piff showing people exactly how many streams or whatever that they were seeing, basically you saying at that time music was finding out a way to monetize and try to get a way to getting where people were seeing the streams and getting paid for those streams. Basically, remember,
he was when he started having that mixtape like go crazy, he ended up starting to get like he just got his buzz got humongous, so he started doing record deals and like commercial deals and all that. But that album they began to play it everywhere, and like it was just like a commercially successful mix, but it was a mixtape though. Yeah. So they had to figure out like, all right, none of this stuff was released as a debut album at all. It was all online for free. So how do we gauge that? And I think the lesson they learned from So Far Gone helped build all of the streaming stuff of right now.
But I'm saying, but So Far Gone was not the first mixtape that broke the internet. Lil Wayne had like at least 4 of them that did that shit.
Yeah, but Lil Wayne didn't never have a mixtape that changed the trajectory of music and shit.
Oh yeah, facts. That's true as shit. That's true.
Wait, say that shit again.
Trajectory. Nah, I mean, but that's facts.
That's your word. That's your word of the day.
Yeah, that's my word for the day. Wayne. One thing Wayne mixtapes did do though, they definitely made shit stop and shit.
I mean, I'll agree to some part. That started the trend. Like that started the trend. So Far Gone developed the whole blue because it was like remember he was actually at the Grammys and like all type of award shows based on the So Far Gone
Yeah, he almost
album.
won a Grammy.
That's what I'm saying. So it was like this one piece of work was so big that it got past like just the underground hip hop audience. It got to like pop culture in a way that no other mixtape or anything ever touched. Like it was touching like middle America. Like best I ever had was you could watch fucking Disney Channel or some shit like that. Shit would be on there. So I'm saying like that was the first piece of music that wasn't an album. They didn't know how to treat something that was free that wasn't an album. And people were actually still making money from it and shit.
I'll say, I don't think he's the one that inspired what Spotify is today. I'll say he's the one that inspired all the other artists to make, instead of making mixtapes rapping off niggas' beats, just to make a mixtape like it's an album. And then obviously that, the people in the corporation saw that niggas was getting a lot of streams. So of course they found out the way to monetize that. So I'll say he probably helped. That's what with people making an album, but I don't think Spotify directly connected.
Well, like, I'm saying like not like I said not directly because there was a bunch of stuff. I'm just saying that was probably like the blueprint of like how they was going to try to build ways of figuring out how to gauge what is success. So like you can look at that mixtape and be like, wait, Drake had over 100 million plays on this one mixtape. Yeah, like
I know what you're saying, but you can still, when people was leaking albums, that one site that had that leaked album, that site was getting a hell of fucking views and stuff.
But they wasn't tracking it how like that Piff was tracking it.
Yeah, but I'm saying
because even at the beginning, that Piff was like one of the first people to like actually like rank the
give ranks and shit
out of like gold, platinum, diamond, diamond listens and shit.
Yeah,
and Spotify took all that shit.
I think that probably has something to do with like getting inspired by it, but
yo, you know what I just realized? That Piff was doing the playlist first too and shit.
No, like, they didn't.
No, I'm saying, you know, on that
yes,
Piff,
they did.
You can create.
They gave you a weekly what's in there every week.
Oh yeah, they did.
Every week it was on the sidebar.
You can't create a playlist. But everything, every like, well, not everything, but I'm saying every spot had a playlist joint. Because
that Piff was the shit.
Yeah, that Piff. Shout out to whoever.
Yo, you know another thing I just noticed too and shit. They monetize this shit to the point where they don't even allow mixtapes anymore and shit. Like there's no such thing as a mixtape anymore.
They're always dropping them on Spotify.
Yeah, they call them the EPs.
Yeah, they call them EPs now to monetize and get the money and shit. Yeah. That's the weirdest shit in the world. And
what the fuck is a 20-song EP? That don't even sound right. That shit sound crazy as hell.
No, I'll say that if it still plays a major role in hip hop. That comes up in hip hop because a lot of people like Lil Baby, all them niggas.
And I was just gonna say that. I guarantee that first Baby album, Harder Than Ever. I bet you that was a mixtape and shit. Like, but they had to find a way to monetize it.
Moneybag Yo, Young Thug, all them niggas, they still drop mixtapes. So that's still important, but they just dropping on sites now.
With that Piff dude that's like stupid dope that they still doing shit. They make those little hip hop TXLs and shit. And like they put the new music out like even before they hit like they start getting radio spin.
And that's
there you go.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why I said because remember
that was the first time I heard that. What's that dude name? That the dude from Love and Hip Hop.
No.
That sing the Cash Money song. Solo Lucci. So that Solo Lucci Cash Money song, I heard it on a Hip Hop TXL like 3 months ago.
And that brings me back to the point I was saying because like. So Far Gone was bringing so much track because like I remember people you had to go to that Piff to find where to get it, either that or October's Very Own. But
yeah, I was about to say that.
But I'm saying, but that was only to let like diehard fans like us who had his old tapes knew about. But like besides that, like it sent so much traffic to that particular website.
You know how hard So Far Gone is. That shit got released 3 times. It got released the first time. It got released the second time with 8 songs on it, and then it just got re-released again on Spotify and shit.
Yeah, and
I'm okay with talking about the topic. We won't stop big upping it though and shit. It's alright.
Who So Far Gone?
Nah, that's just a classic. That shit damn near might be the one of the best albums in hip hop.
I'm cool with that. But
mixtapes, whatever.
No,
I'll say I
agree. It's one of the best.
That's one of the best body of works ever.
Nah, that's not better than Take
Hold
Care.
on,
that shit way better than Take Care.
I ain't never seen nothing get re-released 3 times.
That shit way better than Take Care.
So and that brings me to my next topic though, because like you know how when you having a debate and it's like well we can't include this mixtape, you can't include a certain artist mixtape because it's a mixtape, you can't include that as part of their discography for like when you ranking their albums, like what is their overall best classic work. And I was saying you should be able to include mixtapes because I think So Far Gone, one, is Drake's best body of work. And I feel like it's a classic. And I think it's better than
It's not better than Take Care. You niggas clown.
Shit, I'm about to go and say it's the best hip hop album of all time and shit.
Oh, no, you niggas
you damn near can say that.
That's
now.
my
fault.
Yo, that shit inspired way more than Reasonable Doubt.
No, you niggas tripping.
That shit inspired way more than Illmatic. Yo, I ain't gonna hold you.
No, you niggas tripping. Y'all all the way clowning.
Yo,
but I agree with you though, only on the fact because I said it is a dope body of work and shit that Drake should get more credit for than he actually did at the time that he released it.
Gotcha.
And I agree with that for like Friday Night Lights. That's a dope body of work that J. Cole should have got more credit for than he when he released it and shit.
Detroit.
And it's a lot of projects like that are mixtapes because they needed to get the music out because they label wouldn't let them release it and shit.
Yeah.
That they should get more credit for. So I agree with that completely and shit.
Okay.
But you gonna stop saying that shit better than Take Care.
Yo, that shit better than Take Care. That probably be number one of my
it's
hip hop
fucking-
albums of all
So
time.
technically, Drake got two classic albums. He got
you
Take
niggas
Care and So Far Gone.
Yeah.
Because I hate when people say, "Yo, he only got one classic album." I'm like,
Nah,
And that's always debatable with Take Care,
Yeah,
but
I
Take
still
Care
fuck
for
with
sure.
Nothing was the
Take Care.
same. Nothing was the same was
No, that's gonna be the next
That's
conversation
a
of him
classic
having a
too.
third classic.
yeah.
Nothing was the same.
was hard.
But I feel like
Yeah.
mixtapes should be included in.
Yo, I mean,
it's a disservice to especially if most of the music on the album is it's not like you rapping on dudes beats. Like most of the music on So Far Gone was
Yo,
just
facts.
fire, was super fire. Damn, I just forgot what I said listening to yo.
nigga, you could have just said it on the mic and shit.
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
wrong with this
Oh,
nigga.
no, I'm trying to fuck up Trey.
Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead.
shit, I already fucked me up. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about no more.
But yeah, yo, I say that So Far Gone, most definitely best album ever.
Hey,
Damn,
yo,
no,
these
best album
niggas
ever, yo.
clowning.
no, because
I
I love Illmatic and I love Reasonable
Illmatic,
Doubt.
Reasonable Doubt,
But-
Black Album.
Yeah, Cast My Thoughts is my shit.
Hell
You
yeah.
tripping.
But like what cause like that's a thing that I don't like that we don't do for music. Like we don't do for music what like the people in the 90s when they first heard their music like, oh, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard. Well, cause we was the age when they heard Reasonable Doubt or Illmatic, we was the age when we heard So Far Gone and Warm Up and Friday Night Lights and all that
But,
shit.
and go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm about to say because we don't propel our shit to be like it means something monumental to us and shit like
Facts.
that. Shit resonates way more in my life than what a Reasonable Doubt or Illmatic would have did.
Oh,
for
hell
me.
yeah.
In music's defense, though, like we are kind of starting to move towards that actual lane,
Yeah.
based on what they try to do with Chance for Coloring Book and shit. Because they was trying to push Coloring Book and shit like crazy for Chance. Like they was trying to push that for him to get a Grammy for Coloring Book and shit.
He got nominated for Grammy.
They
Yeah,
forced.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
They forced it.
exactly, and that's what I'm saying. So like they're moving towards that lane and shit. Like
Good point, bro.
like music is seeing like the actual like impact that mixtapes and free music actually plays in fucking hip hop and shit.
Yeah, and that's you brought me right back to the overall point. Without So Far Gone, you wouldn't get a coloring book. You wouldn't get the.
word.
You know what
I agree
Like,
completely.
Yeah, 'cause
I agree
He
completely
had
with
to
that.
release that. Shit. He had to release that piece of music as a mixtape and an album. But like, yo, this is an album, but it was actually a mixtape. Because he's saying right now, Chance is saying like he don't even have a debut album, but
He
technically,
doesn't. Yeah.
technically, coloring book was, and that's why I think they should start, including mixtape as albums. But y'all should let us know, should they include, should artists be able to include their mixtapes as part of their overall discography? And should that be, like, whenever you're ranking an artist's discography, you be like, all right, I'm gonna start with the mixtape, but the mixtape is also, look the same as how you look at an album.
They definitely should start adding shit like that to Spotify too and shit.
Oh no, that's most definitely Drake. He started that way. Even though I know there's people that had that mixtape now, but like everybody's like classic mixtape, that shit's gonna get added. 'Cause
Yeah,
I think the next person that had like one of the mixtape that had a huge impact was Wiz Khalifa. So they gonna have that.
If I
Cushion
can
OG?
Yeah, that's
I mean,
what
that
they
Cushion
are.
OJ?
Yeah,
that
Cushion
shit was
OJ.
hard.
if I can get Big Sean's early Wale work, Cushion OJ and shit like that on Spotify,
Well,
I'd be
it's only
completely in shit.
One Wale mixtape.
The more about nothing.
No, more about nothing.
That's about it.
And the mixtape about nothing was hard too.
I like Back to the Future.
Oh no, he meant the mixtape about nothing. That's what he meant to say.
No, it's the same.
No, it's more
Both of
about
them
nothing.
hard. It's the mixtape about nothing and it's more about nothing.
You talking about the album?
No. More about nothing
No,
is the
mix-
second. Is the second one.
Oh yeah.
Mixtape
right,
about
right.
nothing was the first. I ain't really vibe with mixtape.
No, that one was hard too.
I like more. I started with more about nothing.
Yeah.
And then that was it. But
I like Back to the Future.
Must end this show.
Yeah, but no, that's gonna wrap up.
Back to the Future.
That's gonna wrap up the Mackin Hangin Podcast, episode 7. Make sure you like us on Facebook and use
iTunes, Spotify.
Yeah, you subscribe on Spotify, subscribe
YouTube.
on iTunes.
Yo, we everywhere.
Hell yeah! Just make sure you support, and then we'll continue to create this great ass content. Cause I'm
Straight up.
Oh yeah, also follow our Instagram page.
Yeah,
yo.
Instagram. Follow our Facebook
Hanging and
page.
Mackin. Hashtag. Oh my bad. I'm getting tired.
Fuck up the plug.
Mackin and Hangin #podcast. Follow the Instagram too.
Plug the Facebook and shit.
Oh, Mackin Hangin Podcast on Facebook and shit.
Mackin Hangin Podcast on Twitter. Let's go, man. Let's get the fuck
out. All right,
out.
that's gonna wrap up episode 7.
It's fucking Dre Way.
See y'all next week.
Peace out.